We needed to get on a consistent schedule of vetting new contractors constantly. We were doing it for realtors, I call 50 a week, investors, making sure we have money, buyers and sellers for deals, but we needed to have that project managing contractor, a ton of them in the pipeline. Hi everyone, this is Tina Merryman back with you again from American Flip House with another vlog. This week we're talking about always recruiting new hires to put out less fires. So Grant Cardone, love him, has a great section in his book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, about always looking to fire people. He speaks openly and bluntly about it, which he does about everything. Cardone's employees know this, and it's ensured that anyone joining his company already encompasses that 10x mentality that he's so famous for. So his employees and his team members are aggressive, passionate, they're obsessed, and that's necessary for survival in his company and success. He and his wife Elena are one of the great power couples to watch in the years ahead, so keep your eye on them and what they're doing. But there's a reason that Cardone Capital, Cardone Enterprises, and all their affiliate companies are always growing and achieving. They always have people in the pipeline. So within the chapter I'm referencing, Cardone demonstrates why you should always be focused on recruiting new people, always, not just when a spot is vacant. And I received this message so clearly. You have to always have your eyes open and your ears tuned in for potential new people. And it was illustrated for me that we needed to have a practice internally in our company where we're always doing this, we're always recruiting. We also had to make it known that we are expanding and hiring, always. This keeps the people that are presently representing us, including ourselves, accountable, and it has a radar out there for the next rock star. Not to mention it creates this kind of A-list of employees and partners, just kind of waiting, so that when someone does leave, whether planned or unexpectedly, we have this great plethora of people just waiting in the pipeline to come on in at any opportunity. So I recently listened to Be Obsessed, Be Average on audio, and a really worthy side note, if you're ever going to digest any Grant Cardone material, make sure you do it on audio. He does personally narrate all of his books, and you get so much extra flavor, enthusiasm, and ad-lib than you would from the readable copy. I love listening to him. So the chapter about hiring, firing, and company culture in general came at a really great time for us. So at American Flip House, we have part of our business model largely includes buy and sell, fix and flip properties. And our business structure is well identified by award-winning real estate investor Stefan Arnio, who also happens to be our mentor and coach. He identifies it in one of his books, one of 5 that are currently published, called Money People Deal. And you can message us anytime about getting a copy of that. So you want to look at the structure of Money People Deal like a triangle. One point of the triangle is the money, the actual funding for the deals and the projects. Another point of the triangle are the people, the other active investors, passive investors, wholesalers, realtors, contractors, which we'll talk about in a minute, property managers, buyers and sellers, etc. The last point of the triangle are the properties or the units in the pipeline and the opportunities that are forthcoming. So money, people, deal. And if you solidly have 2 points of the triangle, the third point will always inevitably come. Say, when we have a JVP, a joint venture partner, ready, for example, with a large sum of money, and we also have a deal or property ready to go, then we easily attract a team of people, the contractors, hungry realtors, and laborers ready to work this deal and get it going. When we have the money and the team ready for production, believe you me, plenty of people bring us all kinds of deals. So I could go on all day. In short, you always want to work all 3 as an active real estate investor so that you always have at least 2 points of the triangle to attract the third: money, people, deal. So how does this all relate back to Grant Cardone's chapter in Be Obsessed or Be Average about always recruiting? Well, In a past deal, while I was listening to that chapter, this was a buy and sell, a fix and flip property. We had a contractor on the job who we were working with for the first time. So everything started out well. He was really responsive. He had a small team of people on the job right away. He was knowledgeable when he and Brian first met. They were on the same page. I liked him when I talked to him originally. And, his price point kind of got him the bid altogether, when it was all said and done. But as the job went on, it was more sparse that we would hear from him. He was less responsive. Then we started sending our executive assistant and our project manager to the job more frequently, and it wasn't looking good. Basically, when they would go, there were less and less laborers on the job. Nothing like when they showed up every few days, it was hard to say what really happened from the last time they were there. And the people that did show up were kind of sitting around with no direction. So, as this is going on, eventually the contractor just stopped returning our calls and the job was seriously lagging behind. So despite being in the middle of all these other projects and, keeping the flow going to bring in new deals, new projects, new people, we had to go start showing up ourselves to set a new morale for the laborers, even chipping in while we're there. And I swear, sometimes I think they must have envisioned us sitting on a yacht, sucking down Dom Perignon and caviar, which I don't like caviar. I do like champagne though. And while that sounds great, no, we work our asses off 7 days a week, whether it's from the car, a desk, or on a yacht. And our job is to get more, to get everyone more deals, more money, more opportunity. And that includes more work for the laborers. But, they're not going to hear it that way. Our job that day, those days, those couple of weeks were to be there with them, show them we're grateful for them, be right there beside them, and most importantly, show them what they're supposed to be doing while we're there. So whose fault was this? The new contractor? No, it was our fault. As Mr. Arnio well explains to us, always, as a business owner, own your shit. Thankfully, Brian is a fantastic problem solver, which is why he's the boss. I tell him that sparingly, but Brian hired a separate crew of contractors right away. We had them in the pipeline, thankfully, and they do incredible work. They never stop moving. I mean, they'll literally walk around with their lunch, dropping food as they go. They never stop, and their price is reasonable. They know what they're doing. So in short, the job eventually got back on its feet, so to speak, and actually went into hyperdrive. So even though we paid out of pocket for the extra labor to get the job done on time, it did get finished on time, and it avoided future holding costs. It kept our money partners happy because they got their timely return, their full return, which is always our priority. It did get me thinking, though, about the void in our contractor recruitment. And believe me, we do recruit heavily for contractors. I mean, we put them through the ringer. Just maybe we weren't doing it back then in the Grant Cardone 10X way. So when we started getting several deals at a time under contract back in the day, I originally called about 100 contractors, I would say. And, you were lucky for ones that would even return your call. Then I would have to wean out the ones who would have at least 4 to 6 people to put on a job every day. I would ask them, do you segregate your bank accounts? Because I don't want you robbing from us, Paul, to feed any of your other jobs on the side, Peter. Asking them, can you finish this particular scope of work, for example, in 60 days? What are your weaknesses? That's a good question to ask. Will your team specifically be doing most of the work? Are you subbing a lot of it out? That's how you know if they're going to overcharge you. Are you licensed and insured in whatever state we're working in? Do you have 3 references from past jobs? Can we see pictures of past jobs? So let me tell you right there how many general contractors that weans out. So if that all seems good, we set a meeting. Then when they show up at the meeting, hopefully they're on time, they have to bring a copy of their license, proof of insurance, a sample contract, and then those references and pictures of their past work. So some of them don't show up with everything. A lot of them have excuses, but we have to do this every time. Do they show up on time? Can they provide everything that we ask for? Because honestly, if they can't do that, how can they handle any issues that come up on our project? How can they manage our project? So we're looking for leaders who can lead when we're not there, project managers that are an expert at being a contractor and a project manager. So I even pay attention, are they timely? Are they late? I even look at their appearance. And this was really hard for me at first because I hate judging people But I'll tell you, it made me a believer that, for example, if you kids can't take care of your own teeth, you likely can't take care of my project. You can't manage my project. If you're in a sedan, where's your truck? Do you have your own truck? If you have perfectly clean fingernails, you're probably going to overprice me, as we've experienced, because you're probably not even on the job every day, which is not good, and you're not in the thick of the work. I don't want you doing all the work yourself. You got to be able to manage, but you've got to be in there knowing what's going on also. So we learned our lesson. And why did that happen to us? Well, we needed a general contractor with a crew on a job right away. We were low on recruits in that part of our people pipeline, and we didn't do the pain in the ass steps. So we met the above mentioned contractor at a job instead of doing all that stuff first. His bid seemed good. He seemed like a great fit. At the end of the day, though, we didn't put him through the ringer. So later, we went through it instead. So the deepest valley of our contractor fiasco was literally happening right as I reached the peak of Grant Cardone's hiring and firing chapter. And that's how the universe works. And I believe, be solution-based, not problem-faced, and the universe will provide. So Brian constantly advocates for the whole team at American Flip House to be solution-based. And I realized when that was going on that we needed to get on a consistent schedule of vetting new contractors constantly. We were doing it for realtors. I call 50 a week, investors, making sure we have money, buyers and sellers for deals. But we needed to have that project managing contractor, a ton of them in the pipeline. So if you're only doing it on an as-needed basis, I realize that's a problem in any facet of your business. So we're now on a schedule, a monthly goal. We have a 3-hour chunk of time that we're meeting, and it's usually about 12 contractors that can work our fix and flip projects. So how it works is we interview them in 15 to 20-minute intervals. And in order to get those 12 people in a meeting once a month, we break it down more efficiently into weekly goals. So every week we call about 12, which with that pre-screening and also people even calling you back, out of those 12 a week, you get about 3 people that seem like a good fit. So you take 3 people a week, multiply that by 4 weeks in a month, there's about 12 people you can try and book a meeting with. And then usually when it comes down to actually getting them to book a time in a meeting, you get between 8 and those 12. So from the meetings, you may get 2, seriously, 1 or 2, maybe 3 that are a potential really great fit for an ongoing partnership that you would actually put into your pipeline. And again, this is an average, but it seems like a lot of headache, right? But it's really worth it later when the project is active and you and your investors have time and money on the line. So always recruit. You have to find someone who can work for you, work with you, but also lead that facet of your project so you don't have to manage the manager. If you want to scale your company eventually or right now, you have to have people that are experts in that area, in different areas on your team, and have control over their portion of your project. So you have to know what's going on in your company. You have to be grateful for your people, but you always have to be looking for other people who are comparable or better. Steve Jobs once said, you should never hire someone that knows less about their own job than you do. It doesn't make sense to hire smart people and tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do. So Steve Jobs said that. And in our opinion at American Flip House, at least in my opinion, we hire smart people so that we can tell them what to do and have them do it better. Whether you're new to investing in real estate or you're a savvy JV money partner, contact us at AmericanFlipHouse.com and learn more about investing in one of our fix and flips, about our return structures and the possibilities for you with our company. We would love to hear from you. Remember, knowledge is power. At American Flip House, we help others build their legacy by reinvesting in America.